I'd like to start off here just having you introduce yourself, who you are, what your business is, and kind of give a little insight and background into yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Myriah Shimatsu. I'm the owner of Movement First Wellness, and we are an all-inclusive one-stop shop for bringing health and wellness to the corporate environment. We do on-site fitness classes, wellness challenges, and nutritional education for any corporation throughout Denver Metro.
How did you get into doing that?
It's kind of been a piecemeal together. So I started in fitness back in 2007 just as a personal trainer and landed a gig with a company doing on-site corporate wellness in 2009. And I started teaching for them, became a manager for them, saw the beauty in meeting people where they spend a lot of their time and it being more accessible to get them results because they were at work and that's where they always are. And I quit hearing the excuse of I don't have time. And so then in 2011, I went on my own and started my own company doing corporate wellness. And that's kind of just led me to where I am today, doing it for different companies and doing it for different clients.
Awesome. So when you found that opportunity to do on-site at a business type fitness, wellness, that sort of thing, was that something you just kind of like stumbled across, or were you kind of planning that, or how did that really kind of come about of being like, I should do this. This is a great idea.
Yeah, no, it was not my plan. My plan was to train athletes. I was a former athlete and that's who I wanted to work with. In reality, athletes have no money or appreciation for what physical trainers do for them. Mm-hmm. And the former company I used to work for went into the school I graduated from, the personal training school, looking for a person who could manage for them, who was fit the description they wanted. And it was just a former teacher of mine that referred me to him. And as soon as I got into it, I just fell in love. Having a group of people that worked together daily and had a connection in that manner, and then being able to bring them into the gym and create a bigger connection for them and work with them kind of as a company, but almost as a family, was really cool to see that and to see how it didn't only change the individual's benefit from health and wellness standpoint, but it changed the culture of the company. That inspired me, and I just liked that connection. And so I think once I was in it, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to go from there. But no, originally I had no idea this is where I would land.
Awesome. Yeah, I've found out over the years that when you kind of stumble upon something like that, an opportunity that way, and if you have the right type of mentality, that kind of that open-minded entrepreneurial spirit, which I know you have, it just kind of comes, and you're like, oh, this is a great idea. I'm gonna keep pursuing this here.
Yeah, and I actually tried going away from it several times. I tried doing my own gym. I tried doing in-home training. I always was doing both. I always had that corporate there, and it just kept drawing me back in, and that was where my spirits just lit up and where I did my best training and my best service as well. And so ultimately I had to sit down and decide that is where I need to be, and that's where I can serve people and they can benefit from my skill set.
So you tried a couple of different things and kept getting dragged back.
Pull back, yeah.
Good. For the businesses that you really work with, how you say you've seen the benefits and it's changing the culture and things like that. How could you talk a little bit about some of those benefits that you've seen within the people themselves or within the business itself?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best benefits, I think, is that you get a group of people that in their job and their environment, they have seniority. You know, you have the executives, you have the C-level, you have the under management, and then you have the employees. And when you get them in the gym, those labels kind of go away. Everybody's just another participant in the gym class. And it's really cool to see maybe an executive or a boss to an employee right next to each other, kind of doing the exact same thing, encouraging each other and realizing they're equals. Nobody really is superior or above, and they're in it together. And it just builds that camaraderie. It's a great way to do team building outside of just department team building. It builds the whole company up. And you feel like you're just in something, you're there, you're doing it. And so you start to feel that throughout the halls, even when you're walking by each other, and they still have that connection. You feel it in the cafes. And so it just starts to build this different level of engagement in a company. It's really cool.
They're still sweating next to each other as they're at the water cooler area.
Nobody wants to do those 20 burpees I just asked them to, but they're all going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really just builds it up. And then you see people struggle that, like, again, maybe you see your boss on this pedestal who's never made a mistake in his life, and you always feel like you're failing or something of the sort. And then here you are seeing him right there struggling with you. So you start to realize people are just human, and we can be there for each other in different ways. And I think that's been another thing, even through the COVID-19 situation, to going to being social distancing, companies are still having me stream the workouts because they're realizing it still brings that connection back even when we're apart. And so we can all see each other on the little cameras, we can say hi, we can encourage each other. Now it's a different level of connection actually for me, because I'm doing the workout with them and I'm right there suffering with them. And I've had people that I've trained for 9-10 years be like, wow, you even struggle through a workout. And absolutely, I'm human too. So it's just really different way to connect.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's if you have a little bit more athletic ability than your executive boss, you're like, now I'm doing it now. I can help you. Come on, let's go. Yeah.
Totally.
That's awesome. So, when you're working in the business environment, the corporate environment too, a lot of and I'm the first one to admit it, really, is not having enough time to really fit in a workout.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get lost in the got to get business done, got to do this, got to do that, really kind of knocking things off our task list. What do you say to the people who are like, I don't have the time right now, or I can't do this, or how do you kind of help them along? Because I need that every once in a while too.
There's several ways we try to combat that. One's having classes at different times throughout the day. So maybe you do have a heavier morning, but you can get away at 4 p.m. or something, or vice versa. You have a 7 a.m. workout. So having a schedule that offers different availability, as well as having those executives involved, because if those executives are involved, they're not going to schedule a meeting over the lunch hour when your workout is, so that you're both in it together. That's a huge thing. I've actually found it really cool with the online streaming now, right, with the time. There's people that are joining that have never joined our classes before. And I think it is because you can shut off your camera and they can get involved at their own comfort level. So we do hear that quite a bit of, I don't want to work out for my coworkers. I spend all day with them. But now with the streaming, I'm actually seeing a better level of participation because that's kind of taken away. But they're also still connecting. They'll turn their camera on and say, hey, shut it off, do the workout, and then pop back on at the end. So there's just multiple ways you can do it. Another benefit that we always try to tell people is we customize our classes to fit their work and their environment. So if you want 30-minute classes because you want your employees back to their desk after an hour, we can do that. Where if they're popping into a gym, that schedule is set based off general population. So, they're more likely going to have a 45-minute or an hour class. And by the time the employees walk across the street to the gym, change their clothes, do the class, come back, you're looking at an hour and a half. So we really try to customize everything we do to fit that company environment and keep things accessible. If they're walking down the hall to change their clothes and then pop into the gym, it's a lot more accessible than going across the street.
Mm-hmm. What I've learned, especially with everything that's going on now, I do not like at-home workouts.
They're different.
Yeah, they're much different. What I do at the gym is I lift weights, and I don't really have weights at home, and body weight exercises aren't my favorite. So that's been a little bit of a hurdle for me over this time. But doing things through an online class, having I know you've done a bunch of recordings too that I've used and looked at. That's helpful to have someone kind of guide you through some of that stuff, especially for someone who, like myself, who I'm just not used to that kind of working out. I don't even know the first thing to do. It's like I do a couple push-ups. I'm like, what else is there? I don't know. So.
Yeah, you definitely have to be creative. And I think that's a beauty in having an expert do it, is because it is hard. I mean, I've even found myself struggling. So we're programming everything right now with that in mind, that people don't have equipment. Even if I have it at home, we're not utilizing it. And so I've done everything with either an exercise band, maybe a pair of dumbbells, but most of the workouts are body weight. And I think a lot of people after that first week of going to working from home were feeling that of like, I am bored. And if I have to continue doing the same push-ups and squats over and over, I'm not going to keep working out. And we need to be taking care of ourselves from a health standpoint right now, so that if we do get sick, we can bounce back quicker. And so that's what you're utilizing the fitness industry for. And there's so many of us out there right now streaming our services for free. And so take advantage of it. I know we put a lot of our services online. Some of it's paid for, some of it's free. You can jump onto our YouTube channel and you can find a lot of our workouts there. So just look through different resources, because working out at home is hard. I struggle with it myself, and by streaming these classes, I'm finding I have a higher accountability, even because I have to perform. I have to show up and be there for everybody else. And so I'm working out more than I probably would if I wasn't streaming stuff.
Yeah, that's good. So you're going to be the few of us who actually stay fit instead of getting the nice big there.
I'm also at home with a 2 and 4-year-old. We're eating a lot of chips and a lot of pizza. Totally balance.
Gotta have those foods though. You know, that's the I've from like a habit standpoint myself, I've been during this time, I've noticed that I'm very much like location based with what my habits are and what I get done. You know, the office is the office and I get work done there. My house is my house and I relax there. The gym is the gym and I work out. So it's been interesting to kind of make those adjustments to having all of it be the same thing. Yeah. How have you been able to kind of make that work for yourself?
Office.
What? Sorry.
Got to set up an area that becomes your at-home office and try to mimic what you're used to. We're creatures of habit. And so if you don't kind of distinguish that area right away from the get-go, people are struggling with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about the food aspect of the whole health and wellness piece? Able to do that? I know you got pizza and chips in there every once in a while, but
yeah, honestly, our pizza and chips is coming from a kitchen remodel. No, we're still really pushing down the healthy food. And so I encourage people, again, this is a time that we do have more time. It's a time that we should be spending making home meals, looking at healthy options. I know it's been a different environment with the fact that food's not readily available at the grocery stores, or it wasn't, 2-3 weeks ago. But if you look at what's missing, a lot of what's missing is that processed food. If you go to the fruits and veggies, a lot of it's still there. Like our natural grocers has been stocked the whole entire time. And so you want to just continue to think about getting, 5 to 10 servings a day of fruits and vegetables and keeping our immune system strong. So when we are out in public and we might come in contact with the COVID-19, that we can either recover from it or hopefully not even get it, because our immune system is there. If you're just eating a bunch of the processed foods, we're going to really struggle to get back into this as we start to go back to whatever the new normal is. So yeah, we're going to really need to look at cooking and eating healthy as we get back to whatever normal becomes. That's going to be a big...
Whatever that normal is, yeah.
Whatever that normal is, yeah.
So are you saying that the grocery stores are stocked with more healthier food right now?
I believe so. I mean, if you kind of skim the outside aisles of the grocery store where the produce is, the meats, again, I know there was a time that it was a little scary, but they're there now. And a lot of times the healthier options, the grass-fed beef, the non-hormone chicken, they're there because the cheaper options are gone. And so I've kind of found it interesting that every time I go, what I usually buy, I haven't struggled getting besides milk, eggs, and toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And again, even the eggs, because I usually buy free-range brown eggs, those were the ones that were left on the shelf because they're $7 a carton, and I agree it's expensive. But the nutrient level that you get out of that is highly worth it. And maybe you've discovered that if you've ate a brand that you're not used to, that it actually tastes better because it's good for you. And then another option is, getting those fruits and vegetables from the freezer section. There's nothing wrong with having them frozen before, and then we're not worried about them going bad. Because if we are shopping and stocking up for a week or two at a time, it is hard to keep fresh produce in the house. So that's one shift that I've made personally. I typically shop every 2 days because I like to go get fresh food and then just make it right there. But I've had to get some freezer options. So that way when I'm going, 5-6 days down the road, I still have some vegetables in the fridge.
Interesting. So I'm not sure if I knew that. If you buy something that's frozen already, so vegetables or fruits, not like Hot Pockets, those are...
Yeah. From the... what is it? Cheesy broccoli.
Yeah. Frozen cheesy broccoli. That's good. No.
Yeah, you're going and getting frozen organic vegetables, like a good stir fry. I can't think of the brand that I've been getting. It's I think called power veggies or something of the sort. If we want to get technical, yes, you can lose some nutrient density from freezing them and thawing them and cooking them if you're not eating them raw, blah, blah, blah. Reality is, if you're eating vegetables right now, you're better off than eating the Hot Pocket. So if we want to just make it simple, get the fruits and vegetables from the frozen section. You can buy the pre-made. A lot of them have pre-made like smoothie packs. Make yourself a smoothie in the morning that's full of nutrients and antioxidants. And so again, just keeping our immune system high is more important than anything that we can do.
What are the main tips for keeping your immune system working? You know, we're talking about the food piece, and so that's
the food, fruits and vegetables. Getting outside is huge. Getting that vitamin D, getting the fresh air. I know they're asking you to use masks right now when you go out. Don't tell them I said this. I actually believe if you get out and breathe that fresh air, it's going to be better for you. Getting a walk in, getting some kind of movement in, whether it's a full-blown workout or it's just 20 minutes of moving your body, stretching, doing whatever at-home workout resource you have. Those are the things that are going to keep us healthy. And then the next and most important thing is sleep. Making sure we're getting sleep. And actually one thing I've noticed from a lot of my clients' standpoint, people who normally average like 4 or 6 hours a night, they're finally getting like 6 to 8 because they're not out having their late night entertainment or whatever it is. Like people are finally getting a level of sleep that their body requires. And that's been a really good thing for us right now to keep our immune system strong.
Keep going and actually have the energy to do your workouts at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, simple. Sleep, fresh air, eat healthy, and move.
Yeah. It sounds so simple when you say it like that, but now I'm like, eh. No, I mean, I'm a big believer in that. To have that healthy immune system, you got to attack it from a couple different angles. And I always forget sleep is like a huge piece of that too.
Sleep is the one that everybody missed. People underestimate how much a good night's sleep, what it does for you on all levels.
And you can tell when you don't get enough sleep too. Yeah. I went, I think I've been awake a couple times. Most recently I did a long drive and I was awake for probably a good 24 hours probably. And when I finished that road trip, I was like, my brain wasn't working right. Like I couldn't speak normally. I was like, I gotta lay down.
Yeah, we tend to get so wound up sometimes that then we can't. Like I've had a couple nights, stressed, worried, things are different right now. When's it gonna end? That my sleep's compromised from it. But I find a good tool when you can't sleep is brain dumping. So I literally will get out of bed, write everything that's running through my brain down, because then I'm able to kind of push it off to the side and go back to sleep rather than sitting there and letting the wheels turn. And especially when you're stressed or anxious, that's a good tool to use to get yourself to go back to sleep.
Interesting. That's a good one because my mind races all the time. So maybe that's why I have trouble with that piece. The healthy immune system is a piece that you're pushing right now, with good food, exercise, sleep, all that. You're speaking with that to your clients as well, right? And you're seeing more of a result?
Yeah, we're definitely speaking it to them. I think people are managing it better. Again, we're not eating out. We have so much control over those 4 areas that I mentioned right now that it's the best time to take advantage of it. You can cook your own food. You know exactly what's in it. You're not going out to eat for lunch. You're not being invited to the after work happy hours or entertainment dinners or board meeting dinners. And so, I just trained a guy yesterday, and since he's been home for about a month now, since they started working from home, he's lost 14 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Because he's been running every day and his wife's cooking for him. And so it's just amazing to kind of see if you are tuning into that, it happens, and it happens pretty quickly. But then I also know there's some of us at home right now and you're bored and you're not in your normal situation and you're overeating. And so if you are doing that, trying to find something else to fill your time, get onto my workouts, do something. Yeah. And so we're pushing that a lot, the immunity, and then we're also pushing stress management, because I think everybody's kind of also feeling that right now. And that can be a big factor for your immune system. If you're constantly running at a low level of stress, that's going to bog down your system. And so having stress management tools, and there's a ton of them out there, one, they're going to help you manage what's going on. And then two, they're going to help fill that time. So maybe we're not just stress eating. And so we, this month of April is actually Stress Awareness Month. And so we've been pushing out a lot of content and a lot of different tactics that I think people kind of forget or underestimate, like coloring, doing a puzzle. Those are very stress relieving activities, and we have that probably available to us at home that we don't normally get to do. Going for those long walks and those long hikes, those are, again, stress relieving activities, and they also help you boost your immune system. Jumping on and doing a 20-minute yoga class or practicing deep breathing. So there's a lot of things that we don't have time for. And normally what I hear is, oh, I'd love to do your yoga class, or I'd love to pick up meditating 5 minutes in the morning. I just don't have time for it. Well, you do now. So what's your excuse now? And so that's kind of what I've been trying to get people, their attention is, you've asked for this break. I've heard it over and over and over when I've trained people of, I wish I had more time to focus on my health. I wish I had more time to spend with my kids. Whatever that is, you have been gifted that right now. And so it will go back, and I know it's scary. Just trust and be in the moment and enjoy what you have. And then when things get back to normal, we'll pick that back up too.
Yeah, people have been asking for more time, and now we have it.
Exactly. I know I was one of them. I was like, okay, a goal of mine for 2020 is spending time with my kids. And now they're driving me nuts, but here I am.
You're getting it done. Yeah. Enjoying it. So what other changes really have you seen in your industry, in the fitness industry, health and wellness, that have been impacted by?
Well, it's been a complete 180, 360, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we've gone from showing up to the gym and teaching full classes of, 20, 30 people to everything's moved online. And there's a lot of gyms that have made it really successful, and they've moved all of their classes online. I know some gyms even rented out their equipment, which was really cool. And, sent home bikes with people. They rented out dumbbells for a small charge. And so I think the fitness industry has really felt the impact, but we've managed, and a lot of us have managed by just getting our services out there for free because we understand the benefit of that movement and that health piece right now in this time. But I also think it's just been a beauty to see how people have shifted. Like I said, for us, we moved everything online. Within probably a week or two. It's been a little different. I think all fitness professionals kind of crave that connection and crave that interaction with their clients and their members, but we're making it work. I've seen more fitness online than I think I have in, almost the 15 years I've been doing this. And so we're surviving.
Yeah.
The one will say is it's been odd. You can't purchase fitness equipment. I have tried getting my clients equipment, and because a lot of it comes from China, you cannot purchase anything if you haven't had it. So that's a great thing where gyms started renting out their equipment, and I don't know when we're going to be able to get that available or when we go back to normal, how many people are going to be allowed into fitness classes at one time. And so there's going to be a shift for us still to come in the next couple months, but I believe that we'll all get together and we'll figure it out.
Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting to see the different ways that people are kind of coming together and making it work, right? Like this is, it's been, where are we at? We're at week like 4 or 5, something like that, of the stay at home.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are like, I'll hunker down, I'll wait this out. And others are like, let's go, let's get this done. Let's figure out what to do. Sounds like you're taking that approach to it too, and really going full head of steam.
Yeah, I kind of got to.
Yeah.
When we don't know the end in sight, it's hard to just say, oh, well, I'll pick it up when this is over. Because again, especially for the fitness industry, I believe that when we go back, it's not going to look normal for a while. They're not going to just open up gyms and allow people to pack in 20, 30 people in the class again when we're supposed to be keeping 6 feet apart. So, we're going to be hit hard even when we go back to normal with that being limited of what do we do? Do we add more classes to the schedule because now we can only have 10 people in a class? Or do we just accommodate the people that come in, first come, first serve? And so there's still some questions to be answered. But if we don't, start thinking now and be proactive with that, then it just continues to be a scary situation. So we got to hit the ground running.
Good. And everything is being put online too. And have you seen other innovative ways that people are kind of adapting to this new situation and kind of coming up with cool ways to still serve. The renting piece is something I didn't know about. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, there was a couple gyms of friends that I know in Denver that did it. One cool story that I saw yesterday on the news actually that just melted my heart was a fitness instructor that typically teaches at a senior center. She's going around and she has her microphone, her loudspeaker, and she's literally standing outside in the parking lot, and the seniors are coming out onto their balconies, and she's teaching fitness and getting them to move. The senior centers have been hit so hard with the COVID-19, and they definitely need that movement and eating healthy and those components. And that instructor was there, and she actually taught the same class 6 times, so she could go all around the building so all the members could have access to it. And I just thought that was so cool. So you've seen that. You've seen like block parties where everybody goes out on their street and they stay in front of their yard, but they're doing a workout together that way. Of course, the online stuff's been going on, but there's just been so many. I personally, in my neighborhood, I've seen more people out walking and running than I even knew were in my neighborhood. Like, where are you guys always? So I think everybody's just kind of, doing what they can to pass the time. And a lot of it is including movement, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And the everyone with a dog now is out there walking dogs, and you realize how many dogs are actually out there now.
I know. We have 2, and I'm like, I walk my dogs every day, and I've never seen you guys before, and you have a dog. What do they do?
Yeah, they're inside dog, huh? No. Who are the people that you're really working with, and what makes them an ideal business to be working with? And then how can they reach you if they want to start moving and eating healthier, boosting that immune system, and from now and in the future too?
Yeah, so we work with really any size of organization or a company, but honestly, sometimes the smaller offices are better because you can make a bigger impact, because if you're an office of, let's say, anywhere between 10 to 50, it's easier to get everybody involved. So sometimes those companies, kind of look at our services of, oh, we can't afford you, or we're too small for you, and it's not true. You can make a really big impact with those small to medium-sized offices. And then we have some that are huge, 30-some thousand employees. And those are the ones that you got to get a little more innovative of how do we reach all these employees, because obviously they can't all fit into a class or do a challenge at the same time. Their schedules are very different. And that's where this has actually been a blessing in disguise of, learning how to stream some stuff, throwing more content online. So we have more availability now with our services that we've pushed things online, and we can better service our companies that we do have. And they could reach us by jumping on movementfirstwellness.com or sending me an email, Myriah at Movement First Wellness. And this will be a good and important time to look at wellness and bringing that into your company, because again, when we go back, it's not going to be normal for a while. And how are you going to still do team building? And how are you going to have connections and build your culture and build your morale at your office when everything is still different? And so, setting up a challenge as you go back to work to reconnect everybody, get everybody back on the same page, bringing us in for, a good immune boosting wellness service, we can provide all of that, and we can help you through these next couple months that are going to look really scary and a little different. And so that's what people use us for already, but I think right now it's just a little bit more important.
Yeah, I can see when the stay-at-home order gets lifted, a lot of businesses are going to start thinking more about how can we keep our people healthy? How can we keep people in the office? How, those sort of things. And even though I believe that a lot of businesses are going to say, oh, this work from home thing isn't as bad as I thought it was after this.
That's the beauty of now. Companies know, like, there are going to be employees that kind of demand that of, hey, I worked from home for, a month or 2. Now I want 1 day a week. Great. A lot of these amenities can still be serviced to them, and you don't have to lose that. And it's interesting how people think of wellness as, it's just food or fitness, and those are huge components, don't get me wrong. But again, it's an encompassing thing of the stress management, the financial piece, the socialization. There's 8 different levels of fitness and wellness. And so I think companies are, as they start to come back and look at that of what was missing during this time, we check a lot of those boxes off. And so it'll be a nice, I think, bonus for them to have somebody who is not just fitness and nutrition, but has all those layers to us to come in and service their employees.
I think that's, I mean, now's the time to make that sort of change too, put that implementation into the business,
Absolutely.
work it in. So, I can definitely see that happening in businesses wanting to be, how can we keep our people healthy moving forward?
I hope so.
Yeah, I do too. We can't go back to the normal, right? Like there's not, okay, now we're back to where we started in January, whatever, or even before that. It's okay, what is this new normal? How can we improve upon? How can we really get things going and keep people safe is really what it comes down to, I think. There's going to be a couple regulations, especially in like restaurant industries and some other those too, in terms of sanitation and those sort of rules are going to be in place, and businesses should be jumping on that train as well. So I think that's a good move, and they'll be reaching out to you and asking how they can come up with a custom health and wellness plan to make that happen for their people, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be different, and I think the change will be good. I think if
Mhm.
we embrace it, it'll be well appreciated.
I love change. If we embrace it and think good and think forward, and good things happen, right? This is a problem that needs to be solved, and as entrepreneurs, we like solving problems, so it's good.
Exactly.
Um, Myriah, is there anything else today that you would like to advise other businesses, maybe within the fitness industry or any other industry out there, something that they should be considering, something that they should be looking at during this time and after?
I don't know about advice. I mean, I definitely applaud a lot of the businesses. I feel like so many of us just overnight, shifted our business plan into what's going on and made things happen, like the restaurant industry and them just doing carry out or delivery that never have done that before. It's just been really cool to see everybody adapt, and I hope that as companies move on, they do continue to keep that in mind. Like we just said, you can't go back to normal. Like you can't just demand your employees to start picking back up and doing 40 plus hours a week again and not having this gift that we've just been given of time and family life balance. And like I said before, I hear all the time, I wish I had more time, I wish I had more balance between work and my family. And here we are, we have it, and we're figuring out how to balance the two. And so when we go back, keep a small aspect of that, and the employers need to keep that in mind as well. Don't just demand your employees to come right back into it, because you're taking away what life has taught us. Life is very much a balancing act, and sometimes we work more, sometimes we play more, and this is a good way to teach us that we can have both, and take the habits that we've picked up hopefully in this time at home of eating healthier, moving, spending time with the family, and keep it. If you've been having dinner every night with your family, then don't let that go away. Don't take that 6 o'clock meeting all the time. Make some priorities and make some shifts and keep the good, and then the normal that comes back will be even better.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. That's awesome. So,
I just read your mind. That's all.
yeah, exactly. That's great. Well, thank you, Myriah, for hanging out with me today for a little bit. Everybody's going to benefit from this for sure. Of being able to look at this and listen to you and learn more about yourself and what Movement First Wellness does, and then hopefully get their immune systems healthy and moving in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.